رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي. Okay, in this video I'll be discussing a scientific miracle but through the language of the Quran. And this thing, what I'm going to discuss with you, is going to be so simple, so something that is so obvious, but something that we overlook. We tend to overlook just because it's so simple that there is no need to, like, our minds don't really think about such things. How it's so simple. For example, let me just tell you something. I'm going to explain to you something scientific from the Quran using the language of the Quran. So for example, when we in our daily lives, when we talk to each other, we just say simple things. We don't care about the order, right? We just say, for example, if I eat something in my breakfast, I would say I ate eggs and toast and butter. It doesn't matter if I say I ate eggs, toast and butter, or if I say I ate butter, toast and eggs, or whichever order I say it in, it doesn't really matter, right? Or if I drink, or if I eat something, if I go somewhere, it doesn't really matter. I can name things in any order. But look at the Quran. What I'm going to show you is a very simple thing. It's not so scientific as such. It's very obvious science. However, I'm going to show you the precision with which the Quran says things, which shows that it doesn't even move away from the reality a tiny bit. It is so precise in its language. It doesn't go away from reality even the slightest of bits, and that's what makes it divine. If this book made such tiny mistakes, if it made mistakes in any way or shape or form, we had a room to doubt its divinity. But now I'm going to show you this divinity. Now let me show you something. The Quran, whenever it mentions the night and the day, or the day and the night, see, now the order when I speak doesn't really matter, but the Quran in general, whenever it talks about the night and the day, it always puts the night first, right? See it here, it says, "No, indeed in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and the day." Here it puts the night first and then the day. And then you can keep searching for the words, "Those who spend their wealth by night and day." See, night and day. First it always mentions the night in general and then mentions the day whenever they come together. So if I go to any page, this is, by the way, let me go for when it mentions them together, that is. See, He is the one who created the night and the day. Who will protect you at night or by day? Allah causes the night to enter the day and day to enter the night. First mentioning the night. Allah alternates the night and the day. So in general, the Quran always mentions the night first and then the day. By the way, before I proceed ahead, because I'm showing you proofs, I should let you know how the way I actually got this. Tanzeel.net is the website, and what I do here is I search for the word day, and because we're seeing the common verses, the night will automatically come in those verses. And the way I search is that I go to yamli.com. If you can type Arabic, you can type it directly. If you can, just go to Yamli and come to the search bar, and here just type Nahar and minus Anhar. I'm just subtracting this word because this word means something else. It doesn't mean the day. It's gonna search it, and so you just copy it and paste it here. Anyways, I got these search results, and I've shown you the Quran in general always mentions the night first and then the night first and then the day. Why is it so? Obviously, now the way our science has discovered, I'll show you a picture here. If you look at it, if you look at space in general, look, this picture especially on the right, you see the space in general. We, after sending so many, like, we know now that space in general is dark. It's all dark, and in the reality and the original state of the universe is darkness, which is the night time. The day is only a production, if a result of light shining on some part of the earth, right? So it is originally night. So that's why the Quran, this is one of the wisdoms that we can infer from this order, right? That it's the night that is the original and the day that is artificially created by the light, the shining of the light on certain parts of the planet, right? That's why the night is always mentioned. And likewise, this is not the end of it. You search for the word Shams and Qamar. the sun and the moon. Do the same thing. You come to this website, you just type in, because we want to see the common verses where Shams, the sun, Shams, and Qamar, moon occur. So you just type say Qamar, moon, and you can copy this and you paste it on this website. Or let me take out another tanzeel.net, and you paste it over here and search for it, and see every time Shams and Qamar, the sun and the moon, occur in the Quran, it's always generally the sun which is being mentioned. You see here the sun and the moon for calculation. Allah says here, let me show you the translation. The sun, then the moon. Here it says, Joseph said the sun and the moon. Here it says he made subject the sun and the moon. It always mentions what? Generally it always mentions the sun and the moon. Here you can see he subjected for you the sun and the moon. He made the night and the day. Again, so you can see both the night and the day and the sun and the moon in the right order. First night is being mentioned, then the day, and then the sun is being first mentioned, and then the moon. So it's always the sun and the moon. And of course, I don't need to show you any picture or anything. You know that sun is, again, just like night is the original state, again sun is the original light, moon is the artificial reflection of the sun's light. So subhanallah, so precise. In its scientific, of course, it's scientific in that sense, using language, and of course it shows you that it always mentions the original thing first. The night is the original, the day is simply a state created by a light shining on certain part of the planet, and again sun is the original light source, moon is the artificial reflection, it's a reflected light. Now let me show you something weird here. There is one verse, however, I'll show you, which mentions the moon first. I did look at it. However, look at the beauty. This one, you see, he made the moon therein. Subhanallah, look at it. The moment he mentions the moon first, he actually dictates and openly mentions that the moon is a reflected light while the sun is a burning lamp. It actually mentions the here it's mentioned in the brackets. However, it explicitly states the sun as a burning lamp, meaning the sun is the original source of light. Subhanallah, the moment it does reverse the order, it explicitly states that the sun has its own original light. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Look at the translation. And made the moon therein a reflected light, and made the sun a burning lamp. Here it explicitly stating their roles. So this is one of the beauties of the word orders, which we don't care about as such when we speak, but look at the precision of the Quran, which is important because we have to test the Quran for its divinity in order to believe in it. And this is the beauty and precision of the Quran, that even when it brings these two words and randomly mentions things, we made this. We might say, the nature has trees, flowers, gardens, etc., etc. But the Quran, when it mentions these things, it takes into consideration the order. So in general, it seems that the Quran always uses night before day and sun before moon to show which is actually the original state. The second thing that I would like to show you here is, and by the way, I found one verse of the Quran as well. Let me show you that one. That verse it's beautiful. This one, Surah Yasin. Now this is a very beautiful verse showing how actually night itself is the original state of the universe. Look at the wording of it. This itself is a very big scientific miracle. It says there is also a sign for them. This is Surah Yasin verse 37. There's also a sign for them in the night. We strip from it. This is very important. Naslahu. We strip from it daylight, and then behold, they are in darkness. It's very important to focus on the word here. It says we strip from it daylight. Allah didn't say we made for them a sign, a day we strip from it nighttime. No, he didn't put it this way. He said it's the night from which we strip the day. He didn't say it's the day from which we strip the night. And that's very important. You know why? Because the word naslakh is actually kind of used for skinning. It's like there's a skin on top of something. It's like the night has a skin, which is the day, and that skin is being removed. Now notice, this is so beautiful, because skin is not the original thing itself. There is the original body below the skin, and the skin is just a covering. And subhanallah, as you can see here, even in this picture, This light is simply a covering on the original body of night. The planet is engrossed, like I can show you here. It's if I can see a bigger picture like this, the entire planet is hidden within darkness. It's only a skin of light you can see here. It's like a skin which Allah removes. It's very important. That also goes to show that the Quran did actually know, the author of the Quran knew that it was actually originally the universe was in darkness. It was only a skin of light. The light was only it was something temporary that came from a light source. It covered the original darkness, which is the original state, and then it removed. It says we stripped it. It's important. The Quran didn't say we stripped the darkness from the light. It says we stripped the light from the darkness. And that's very important. That goes on to show the Quran did know the original state was darkness. Now, the second thing I would like to show you here is even the usage of past tense and future tense. Now, here in the Quran, every time, now this is very obvious science, but look at the reason I'm showing you is I'm showing the pinpoint precision of the Quran, that the Quran doesn't even make these minute mistakes. This is very obvious science. We know, look at the way the Quran says, using past tense and present tense. It says we enter the night into the day, and we enter the day into the night. Every time it says in the Quran, it uses the present tense, meaning here we cause the night to enter the day and the day to enter the night. It didn't say we entered the night into the day, or we entered the day into the night. Every time you can see in the Quran, I don't recall any mention of the past tense. See, it always says Allah causes the night to enter the day. He didn't say He caused the night to enter the day. It's always present tense. You can search for it. He caused the night to enter the day and the day to enter the night. You can just search for the word walaja, again the way I showed you on Yamli, and paste it here and see for yourself. However, when it says we subjected for them the sun and the moon, it always uses the past tense. Sakhara, He subjected. You see the translation, subjected the sun and the moon. You can always see these translations. Again, you can search for the word sakhara, means subjected, and search for it. Wherever he says sakhara shamsa wal qamar, let me go to first, because this word is used in different ways. You have to see where it uses for the sun and the moon. Here you go. We subjected, this in the past tense, subjected the sun and the moon. It's amazing. The thing I'm about to tell you is, when it talks about being subjected, it always says in the past tense. However, when it says we enter, it always uses the present tense. Now, this is very common science. The sun, the moon, the planets, of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once set their gravitational values, once set them in orbit, and that was just done in the past, right? It was just done. It's just like we set something to start off with. It follows that rule. There was the beginning rule Allah set for the sun and the moon to take these orbits, to have this gravitational values. That was done in the past. However, it's when it says we enter the night into the day and the day into the night, it's constantly happening. As you can see, the earth is constantly rotating, and it wasn't something in the past. It's happening right now, every second, every place on earth. The night is entering into the day, and the day is entering into night. It's happening again and again. SubhanAllah, even the use of the past tense and the present tense is so precise in the Quran, it doesn't even make this mistake. Subhanallah. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Very, very common science. The Quran doesn't even get it wrong down to this basic level. When it talks about the day and the night, I showed you, or the sun and the moon, it always brings the night first, because the night is the original state, and day is just an artificial state created by a place where light is being shown. Again, and when it mentions the sun and the moon, the sun is the original light, moon is the reflected light. And then I showed you how it also proves this from Surah Yasin. And then I showed you how it uses present tense and past tense for entering the night in the day, or the day into the night. It uses present tense because it's constantly happening right now on earth. Whereas when it says we subjected the sun and the moon, it says uses the past tense because He did it once. It was done in the past. And that's it. Subhanallah. Common, simple science, but the Quran, every time it gets it correct. Subhanallah. I do not recall any other instance, or I cannot recall right now when the Quran would say yes qur'an, or it uses the past tense for the subjecting the sun and the moon, or it uses uses the present tense for subjecting the sun and the moon, or uses the past tense for entering the day and the night, and uses present tense for subjecting the sun and the moon. So it's amazing that using language in a way that coincides with science. Constant, what do you use the word for it? It's called, there is a harmony, constant harmony between science, the work of God, and signs in the book of Allah, the word of God. Subhanallah. May Allah increase our faith to conviction. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.